Our following session is coming up, so we will do the cloud transformation in action. So we actually have 3 customers of ours coming on stage. We have Priyanka Rani of Carrefour, which is the domain manager. We have Antonio Curado, the technical lead of Deliberect. And then we also have Koen Bosmans, senior system manager at Melexis. And we have, of course, our lovely moderator, who is Kurt Rommens. And he is the public segment lead of Google and Luxembourg in of Belgium and Luxembourg at Google. So yeah, I want to call the people on stage so you can all come and take place.
Thank you. Mic working? Yeah. Just checking if the microphone is working. Everybody can hear me? Pretty okay. Thank you. Yes, please take a seat. Super welcome in this afternoon session. I hope you all enjoyed lunch. And I see a few of you having coffee or previously a coffee, but we're going to make sure it's like a double cappuccino or a forte that we're going to kick off this afternoon session. I have beautiful guests with me. Thank you. Priyanka, please take a seat. Koen and Antonio, please take a seat. I will take that seat over there. It's wonderful weather. I only saw actually 2 people outside having lunch on our small terrace. So keep it in mind next time. I don't know how many people are here for the first time at Google Office. Yeah, so keep it in mind. We have a small terrace. If the weather is fine, then it would be great. Hey, this session and the full day, and I want to thank, of course, Devoteam to organize this, is all about you, the users of Google Cloud and our technology and innovation. So that's also the reason why we're having this chat, actually, this afternoon, because we are pretty much biased when we say that our technology is cool and useful and creative, but we do love to hear our customers saying the reasons why they have opted in for Google Cloud and what challenges they're trying to solve. And that's actually the points that we're going to discuss with this beautiful group. Thank you. Small applause for our guests, please. Cool. Priyanka, if I can start with you, if you could give us a small introduction of yourself and your role within Carrefour, and then as a follow-up, and then we will just continue with the other guests, to tell us a bit what type of challenge that you try to solve and why that you choose for a cloud. And as a follow-up, you can imagine why Google Cloud, of course. So please, go ahead.
Okay, so we have...
I think that's preferable, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because there are some recording going on. So.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I am Priyanka Rani, and I am domain manager of cloud technologies at Carrefour. So I manage everything which is running on cloud except network. But yeah, all the infrastructure, e-workplace and SAP. So yeah, from start to end, it's like everything there. And I'm working with Carrefour. I mean, like Carrefour for 1 year. But before that, I was supporting Carrefour as a client from IBM for 4 years. So in total, it is 5 years that I'm working with Carrefour. And yeah, so I have done lift and shift when I was in IBM, because Carrefour has done the lift and shift from Twins data center to G Cloud. So I have done the lift and shift, and then I joined Carrefour. So I'm managing it here. So I know, I mean, like from start till where we are, that how was the journey, how we did it, what was the challenges and everything. So yeah, that's about me.
We're going to take a deep dive on that content a little bit later on. Koen, if I can ask you to also do a small introduction, where you work and why you guys, or what were the challenges you tried to solve?
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Koen Bosmans. I work already, like earlier was announced, 24 years in Melexis. It's a long time. Melexis is a manufacturer of chips and sensors, mainly for automotive industry, also for adjacent markets, as I call it officially, but it's like consumer market things and other things. So everything these days, electric mobility is a blessing for us. So if you have an electric car, thank you for that, because we have more than 40 products in your car. I'm responsible for several products. One of them is Google, and it's everything Google, just like you. But there's also Workspace and Google Cloud. We're a Workspace customer since 2009 already, so a very, very long time. And we are on Google Cloud since 2016-17. And 2 years ago, we started migrating our data center, our biggest data center, into Google Cloud. And that is complete now since this year. So we officially closed our data center.
Wow, cool. Antonio, last but not least, but go ahead.
Thank you. So I think I was already a bit introduced on the first presentation, but we're a unicorn startup here from Belgium, and our journey with Google Cloud started from the beginning because we couldn't start on-prem, I think, at the speed and the iteration that we would like to go. Google Cloud was, or cloud, and particularly the Google Cloud, was necessary to unlock the speed that we needed to go. As I also mentioned a bit, we started with a core set of services, and eventually now we're increasing the adoption and looking at other tools to unlock new use cases that we're finding as we scale.
Cool, thank you, Antonio. Let me stay with you, and also for the others. I don't know how many people in your companies use already Google Cloud. If you use it, raise your hand. Okay, we have 50-50-ish. So that's really good because you need to start somewhere, right? I hear you all say we did the migration, the lift and shift, but I don't think it was like, okay, let's do this. So if you could share a little bit your journey into the migration, where did you came from? And of course, we have different use cases, definitely. But surely, how did you went step by step, you mentioned, but what was really specific? What was first? How did you manage this? And how did you were going about it?
Yeah. So we didn't have anything before 2018. And how it started was just with one set of containers in a single-person computer. And from this single-person computer, we then understood that we could not run a service in a personal computer, and eventually we needed to move it to the cloud. We used Google Compute for that. And then we started to get our first customers, services running fine, but we started to question ourselves on affairs of reliability or disaster recovery, because if that single compute instance would go down, then we would have serious trouble because we would stop providing the service to our customers. And then we eventually understood that we needed a managed database, and from this managed database we solved these problems, but it was still not scalable enough because we were still bound by this single instance, and from this single instance we moved to GKE to scale multiple GKE environments, and eventually we started also looking at the data part of it once we had the scale enough and the data enough to monetize it and to drive insights from it.
Okay. Same question to you, Koen. It was, I think, a lengthy journey. You mentioned you've been quite some time at Melexis.
Automotive industry is pretty slow.
Yeah, okay. But you try to speed up things. But
yeah, sure.
What was, let's say, your journey? And
So, like I said, we started more or less in 2017 on GCP. It was more, exploring what is possible, what are the capabilities in these kind of things. From that spawn out a little bit more in a bigger project to put some more workloads on GCP. And then we saw the real benefits. We had problems on-prem to scale up, basically. We were growing that fast that our data center was not capable anymore to scale easily up or down, depending on the needs that you have, because we do more builds. We do a lot of internal development due to the business that we're in. We have to do that. All these new systems that we have for pipelines and all these kind of things and builds, that we need more service, more infrastructure, more network, more. And then sometimes it's less. And the scale up, scale down was, the pre-investment was always too expensive because you need to, in advance, plan what you need for the future. And we saw in the cloud that is not needed. There we could scale up, scale down to the needs, what we need at that moment. And there were some other reasons as well. There's a whole list of reasons, of course. But on the end, we decided, okay, maybe we need to put our whole data center in there as well. And we came to that decision. Okay, financially, it was saying to do that. The business value is there also to grow for the future. The capabilities are there. And that's why we decided, okay, let's go for it and let's do it.
Nice. Same story, same question. Yeah.
Okay, so story is a little bit different because, everybody was on the legacy data center. So Carrefour has their own data center in their headquarters. So it was quite difficult to manage from there. So Carrefour had decided to move it to IBM data center. So they have decided to move to Twins, and there it was a shared environment that IBM was selling that, okay, you can be in the shared environment and it will be cheaper, it will be efficient, you will be virtualized and everything. So our cloud transformation has happened in 2 steps. First, we did the lift and shift to Twins data center where we were a shared environment, and then from there we moved to cloud. So we have virtualized everything from physical to virtualization, and then virtualization we took it to cloud because it was a decision which has been made by a group. Carrefour Group, which is France, is a French company. So they wanted to have a view on every country that, okay, what is going on in which country, how we can use this massive data, because we tap on a massive data, being a retailer. So how we can keep a overview, like all of the countries we have. So they decided to, let's go to, we are on cloud, and then we have the views, then we can have, we can sell the products globally. There is not country-wise contract with the suppliers. If you do it globally, you get it cheaper, you get it like faster, you have better discounts. So I think that was the strategy of the group. That's why they have decided to, go to cloud. And Belgium, I think we are the fastest to be there. We started in 2018, the lift and shift. And then I think right now we are 99.7% or something already in cloud. And then we have adopted the workplace as well, Google Workplace, so that we are like fully, the ecosystem is same for us. So yeah, that's more about our Carrefour journey. Yeah.
So the use case was the massive load of data.
Yeah.
The use case at Melexis was really to speed up actually development and the scalability that cloud could bring. We delivered it was really starting and deploying fast in new markets as that. Now these are I think use cases that typically resonate. I also hear the financial benefits that all mentioned, like move faster with less on-prem elements which are costly and they need maintaining. But you mentioned that it was a two-phased approach. Now I do understand, and you are at that level of maturity already. If you would look back, are there any elements that you would have done differently in terms of more efficient, faster, different approach? Because of course, a migration step is quite impactful, both for the business and you still need to provide that added value. But I can imagine that it's not always first time right. But looking back now, what are, let's say, your advice, or what would have you done differently in your journey to cloud and Google Cloud? If you could share maybe some best practices or tips and tricks.
I think the major challenge was the mindset, because you change the mindset of the people who are working in your environment. For example, the IT people, or if you are going to the workplace, then the people who are going to use it on day by day. Communication, communication, and communication. For me, that's the key. You communicate, you go, you do the workshop, you train the people, and you have better resources. So we had the challenge finding the right resources to do all this migration. So we took the help of outside vendors, other companies. Probably it would have been better. We would have planned it better. We could have keep the knowledge inside, and then migrate, because then people do their job and they leave, and you are there to manage it. So I think that is one of the thing we could have done differently. Yeah.
Okay. Koen, any lessons learned?
Well, I can second that, basically. We have similar problems. Well, we did a migration, and we had some assumptions that we thought we were communicating well, but apparently it was not. You can't communicate enough, basically, for many people. But you have to do the right communication. And in our main problem was the transformation of the IT people itself to getting to know the new knowledge, because you have a number of people who know Google Cloud already, but as long as you have no feeling with it or you're not working in it, you don't have the Spitzengefühl, as they say, to actually do something in it. And we thought, it will come automatically, but that did not happen. So that's something we're trying to solve now at this point in time. The migration itself was relatively well done. It was done by Devoteam. It was even within budget. But other things were going out of budget, which were running in Google Cloud from what we had before, because it was more things were going into Google Cloud, so we could more effectively use that and consume that in a more easy way and a faster way, that we saw other products which were not optimized going out of control on financial scale. So also we now see the very big need for FinOps person. We have a position open at the moment. Yeah, if you want to apply. No,
take the momentum. Take the momentum.
No, it's really needed. You need to keep control of the costs, of course, to see that it doesn't run out of control. There were some other small things, of course, but in generally, the transition went pretty smooth. But we had a retrospective with Devoteam on what can we do better in these kind of things. But in general, yeah, we're pretty happy.
That's the thing with when you do the migration, it's like you do the lift and shift. It's like you're buying a fancy house, a large one with like beautiful house, but you're putting all the old furniture, all the old things there. So you need to find a way to optimize it. And yeah, we have the FinOps guys. Huh? So we are already working on this FinOp thing. We are saving a lot, especially in the SAP part, because it's heavy and bulky. Huh? There you can save most. Everything else is virtualized, so you can just moderate it. You can see, okay, what is your usage, your storage, and everything, and then you can do it. But yeah, it's beneficial if you have a FinOps guys. I can second that.
I hope we have one soon. At the moment, I have to do it, but I'm not doing it pretty good. So a lot of more effort needs to be put in there.
Yeah, maybe also from your end, you went also through the journey. So maybe some lessons learned, tips and tricks that you can share with this team on. We did it, but if we have done it like this, that might have been more efficient. So
yeah, I think for us it was a bit different. I don't think pricing was something that we regret, also because we started from zero, and in order to scale, you can first scale and then think about the cost of decrease the cost of cloud, because doing this, the fast scaling and worrying about the cost at the same time can be a bit conflicting. What I would say that we failed or we could have done better was to set controls in some things beforehand, because and the way that we work is just there's a problem and there's someone and we allocate someone to solve a problem, and this allows us to solve our problems, but eventually what it caused was other type of problems of not having enough structure in certain things, because lack of structure only becomes a problem a lot more down the line. Previously I was describing the Google Cloud, but I think one of the lack of structure that was more obvious was on the workspace, because there was no one adding any structure to the workspace. So you needed an Excel. You had the Excel in your or Google Sheets on your personal, or any documents that would float around, sometimes not with appropriate controls. And this was something that we took, I think, a long time to catch up to what would be a healthy workspace environment, that if we had thought a bit more about the structure of the workspace a bit before, it could have saved us some time.
Okay, cool. Fantastic stories by default. I hear both workspace and Google Cloud Platform, and thank you for that. That's really nice. I think working together is a very neat way to bring innovation. Now, I have a quite challenging question for all of you. So you're on that stack of maturity, you're quite well advanced in that sense. So 2 questions. What will the business foresee, let's say, in the coming 1 to 5 years? Let's make that horizon quite small. And as a sub-question, I would ask you personally, if you would have a magic wand, what would your ideal world look like in terms of what can Google Cloud can bring additionally to your business, and how do you see this optimized even in the future? So business perspective, and otherwise, if you can share, of course, I do understand. But also, if you had all the controls, what would be your ideal scenario, and what do you see in terms of opportunities going forward with Google Cloud?
So with Google Cloud, I will not say that we are at the maturity level right now. We are at the start. We are at the computing level. That, okay, we pay as we use. So the next step is using it like PaaS or the containers that are usability, and it's done by data and application and Kubernetes. So you have more control. Right now, if you want to optimize anything, you have too many people to consult. You have your application. maybe we have, I think, 200 something applications already. And these applications allocate some sort of quotas. And they are using it, they are not using it, nobody is keeping a tab on that. So you don't know. I mean, like if you want to change it, you need certain approvals. Okay, do you want us to do this? No, it might have an impact, it might not have an impact. And we have to think from a perspective, from the retail perspective, that we want zero impact on our stores. If there is any impact on stores, it's a no-no. Huh? You cannot do it. So what I want, that I don't have to ask these many people about the approvals, that okay, I want to do this, that way. I want a system which can manage it for me. That okay, you put your application there, I will see that okay, this is your quota, but you are using this, so it will lower it down on itself. I don't have to do it manually. I don't need the FinOps guy to do that for me. I want Google to do that for me. So that is something I want personally. Because I struggle a lot there. Huh?
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Cool.
For us, we want to do a more shift-left approach because, like I said, we do a lot of internal development, and currently we have done for the data center a lift and shift. But the second phase that we're going into now is to migrate all these lift and shift services that we have done into cloud-native services. But we have also a ton of security on top of that implemented, which we need some processes to get certain access, some service accounts and these kind of things, which is now a manual work by some system administrators need to do that. It's separated from development and these kind of things, and that gives pain points in the organization. So we want to make self-service items that you can generate service accounts and permissions and certain specific things, so that developers can do the whole cycle themselves without involving additional people. It's a little bit like you want more automation, these kind of things. That's what we're planning for, and we're going to do that actually. But for the future, I think for Google Cloud, I want to see more cloud native features like we have with App Engine and Cloud Run, that you have just a single command you run and you deploy forward. You just go for it. Don't care about all the other infrastructure.
AI, the new AI.
Yeah, maybe an AI mode too. Give me this and it just does it. I want to see more of these kind of services. You have already some of them, but I think there is more possible in the future.
Perfect. Antonio?
Yeah, I think I'll pick up on my previous point on pricing. I think business will probably now demand a lot more of cost unit effectiveness. And this is something that we will eventually start to look at, because I think we passed the stage in which we need to make it viable. We're now not viable, that prove the business case. I think that's been proven at the stage we are at now. I think we need to make it effective cost-wise. That's on the business side. And on what Google can provide, and I think this will be a presentation later on today, is that I'm looking for the integration between the data or the BigQuery and the workspace. Because a lot of people have their workflows built around a lot of the workspace tools, and if we can just automatically bring this data from our data warehouse into these tools without having to maintain any kind of infrastructure or code, that would be really cool, and I think I'm looking forward for that.
Perfect. I want to have one final question, and then potentially open it up for some questions, if that's okay with you. But if you would give this audience a few tips, good advice, and that could be pretty broad, what would it be if we can do the same? Or well, let's start with Antonio. If you have some idea, just pop it while Antonio is thinking about it.
Yeah, that's necessary. Communicate, train your people, and of course you have to find a solution which is cheaper, faster, and does not impact your business a lot. So achieving that balance is quite difficult to achieve that balance, because Carrefour is a retail, we have direct impact on business if a person is not able to scan. You go to Carrefour store and you are not able to scan. So just remember, Priyanka is sitting behind with her engineer fixing that. So you don't want that sort of impact on your business. So we have all these applications, and finding that balance is essential. It can be different for different type of business. But yeah, what I would say, communicate well, find people who can actually work on it and who are passionate to do that. And because Carrefour is something, it's not a lean organization, it's huge already. So taking this huge elephant and making it fly, it's not that easy. So we found, we have worked hard, and we just organize workshop and, with COMEX members, with people, IT people, what they want, what they are looking for, and how they want us to be, evolve. How can we use this data, what we have to have like more impact on our business so that we can gain more profit. So yeah, that was all the things which we have considered, and we started moving in this direction slowly. I think it took us 4 years, 2018, and we are in 2023. So we are still on cloud computing. Next year probably we will move to cloud native. But yeah, that will be, I think, 4 years plan. So you choose right partners to do that. So that's essential, that you choose the right partners to do it for you, because it's not possible to do it alone with this huge package. So you find right partner, you can trust them, and yeah, just don't lose faith. You will reach there. You will fly at one day.
Perfect. famous words. Good, Antonio.
So yeah, I think for us, one of the biggest learnings is about, close to what I was mentioning in the workspace, is like not going in every direction. Like we've seen presentations, we'll see more. I think there's a lot of services in the cloud, and I think particularly at a small startup, focus is very critical. So if you start to explore a lot of different tools, you might lose precious time when you should be building a product. So I would say that in order to scale or build a company fast, I would advise to focus on a key set of products within the Google Cloud, and as you scale, you look at other services that complement what you already picked. Because just going in every direction might not take you at the speed that you need to be going.
Thank you, Tanya. Good advice. Good.
Yeah, for me, I would say if you're a small business and you need to, you're standing before moving to a cloud service, for example, just do it. Don't bother about finances and these kind of things. Just do it. If you're small, the benefits in the future are so big for you, and the ability to scale. You're a perfect case for that. You're a unicorn. You scale up very fast. That you can only do this in cloud. You can't do this on premise. That's not possible. For bigger companies, I would not focus too much on the costs of hosting things on cloud, like lift and shift, like we did, for example. But focus more on the benefits that you can get in the future. So the business value that you can get out of cloud, it's for each company different. I can tell ours, but that will not help you much. You have to find that yourself, but leave the finance part secondary. And explain that to your C-levels or whoever that your audience is that you have to sell it for. This is what the values for cloud is and what it brings to our organization. And yes, it will cost more maybe in the beginning, but on the longer term, you will harvest the benefits from the actions that you did.
Wow, top conclusion. So, as a recap, communicate. I think that flies for everybody. Train the right people, bring the right expertise in there. Partner up with the right stakeholders, both internally as externally. Focus. Don't try the heavy lifting all in the beginning, but start fast, because you will see the benefits in a very short time. I think a lot of good conclusions in here. Laura, not sure if we still have time for, if there are questions, one or two.
Yeah, we do. Go ahead.
Anybody has a question to this great panel? Yes, we have a question here. Maybe if I can steal your mic. Yeah.
I had a question for Koen. You mentioned you're going to look at some tooling or automation to remove some of the dependencies that your developing teams have. And as an example, you give like, I want to request service accounts, I want like a new Cloud Run instance, stuff like that. So it's very DevOps dependencies, but eventually I guess you'll run into a security question where as a developer, I would like access to all the databases and all the tables, etc. But there will be somebody from security who will have to sign off on that. How would you work around that issue? Like, is there a way to make that more efficient?
Yeah, we have an official security team who were supporting us in these decisions, of course. These things will be ticked off, and these automations will always be checked if cannot be abused. For the moment, we're implementing, and now the name escapes me. But JIT, yes, JIT. Look it up. JIT is it's a tool. I think it's developed by Google. It's open source. It's just-in-time permissions. So you just, as a developer, can ask, I need admin access to this database, for example, on production for 1 hour to do a certain action. He needs to validate his request, of course. He can get that request. It's logged somewhere in a security log. We can always trace it back what happened and who did what and who requested what. And we can define also what permissions they can get, for example. So it's not that they can ask full domain admin access. That's not possible. So only, in this case, database admin, for example.
Thank you. Anybody else? Another question? Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for your insights. My questions to all speakers today is regarding the data governance. What were the main challenge that your companies faced, and how did you overcome those challenges? Thank you.
Not an easy question. The question is pretty easy, but maybe the answer is a little bit more complex.
I'll answer first. I think that was internal struggles or communication, a little bit what you were saying, between operations and developers. We don't have an established DevOps role yet. We're looking into that also with SRT and these kind of other things. It's interpreting communication. What has been communicated and what do you mean with it? It's interpreted differently by different people. And that's the struggle that we had. Some people thought, oh no, we meant it like this way. And other people thought we meant it like this way. So we need to find a common way, or you people need to find a common way to, a common understanding, basically. And that's really important, the communication, trust me. It's all about communication on the end.
For us, like every store has their own databases, so we had to find a way to use it in an optimized way, because I mean, like imagine like in Belgium we have around 800 stores, and every store there has their own SQL or Oracle. You know, different store has different. I mean, like not stores, but yeah, different. Services, they use different sort of operating systems, and they have their own sort of database. So it was a challenge to bring everything under one umbrella. So what we did for stores, we created a consolidation project, and we handled the data that way in clustered form. But yeah, for other things, but the good thing was Google was for AIX solution like AIX or Solaris, which is like physical server. So there was no solution, I think, in the start, but they provided some solution, I think, last year, June, and we have moved all these servers on premises in Frankfurt, Germany. So they have the solution there. We can manage our databases and everything. I mean, like, we still manage it in-house. There is nothing the backups are happening, of course. I mean, like, stop me if I'm going too technical and deep, huh? So the backups are happening using the cloud partners. So that's how we handle our data, and everything is like backed up and managed on cloud, I would say. I mean, like in an efficient way, better than earlier. That I can say. We have less and less issues, so I would say it's better than earlier.
Yeah, I think for us, the biggest challenge around data governance was that our data, I think there was a presentation mentioned this, is that our data models were scattered around different SaaS offerings, because these SaaS offerings are very useful to not have someone to build something, but instead we can leverage them for multiple use cases. But then they spread the data in a way that makes it hard to have good governance, as in both access-wise, because then the access is managed on these SaaS tools, and also to have a central entity where you can clearly see what's a customer. One way that we are currently on the process of trying to address this is to try to push this data back to these tools with the reverse ETL that was mentioned, is that even if people don't fully understand all the data, if they work on a certain tool or in a certain place, And we just get this data into the data warehouse, we transform them, and then we re-upload the data to these people that they need. Then we kind of solve the data governance problem without having to do a lot of workshops or communication around, this data lives here, and this is how you need to search for it. If we just push it to the tools that they're using, sometimes we can skip this step. I'm not sure if this was the data governance side that you were looking for, but this is what I thought would be. Yeah.
Thank you. In any way, I think you all still stay here. So if you have any additional questions, do just tap on each shoulders. May I thank you three for your insights. I learned a lot. I took away some good advice, and I hope that really resonates to your specific environment, and that you took some tips and tricks with you in your cloud journey. So thank you so much. If I can have a warm applause for our members, and up to Laura for the next. Thank you.